Can you hear that? Sounds familiar, right? It's the tumult of anger and discord. Aotearoa New Zealand isn't as united as it used to be for many reasons. COVID has affected us, lockdowns have affected us, mandates have affected us, as have inflation, low immigration, the labour market, and a whole bunch of other things. And we know it. One poll earlier this year suggests that 72% of us believe that as a country we're more divided now than we were a year ago. Vaxxers hate anti-vaxxers and vice versa. We're split ethnically, Māori versus Pākehā versus immigrants. Generationally, it's all about boomers versus millennials. And economically, we're also at odds. Renters against property owners, bosses versus workers, workers versus shirkers. The first thing to note about all these identities is that they're super reductionist. They shrink us into ever-diminishing boxes based on aspects of who we are, not who we are. So who am I? Well, I'm clearly Pākehā, a majority, heterosexual, another majority, and male. Oh, and I'm middle-aged. Okay, late middle age, but at the peak of my oppressiveness and dominance, right? I'm also Catholic, about 10% of the population. And I'm a male with a brittle bone condition called osteoporosis, between 4 to 6% of the population over 50. And I'm an adoptee, a very, very small minority. By the way, some psychologists call adoption the primal wound, with a whole truckload of associated behaviours. For example, adopted kids either marry very young or very late. Look, 56 and 3 kids under 8. With another one on the way. I prefer to think of myself not so much as a victim, okay, maybe a bit on the bad days, but actually a very, very, very late bloomer. In fact, I'm both a majority and a minority. As the poet Walt Whitman says, I contain multitudes. I'm messy, like everyone, and maybe like you. Categories can be useful until they're harmful. And once you reduce people to cartoons, it's easy to set the cartoons against one another to do what cartoons like to do. Fight! The fact is that with all the fear around COVID, as well as the growing desperation of a faltering economy, we're losing the knack of staying civil while we disagree. So to revive the failing art of civility and to stop us from becoming some cartoon version of the disunited states, here are 3 ways to disagree agreeably. First off, stop shouting. Then stop talking. Shh. Listen. What's the person you're disagreeing with actually saying? Rather than wait for them to finish so you can start trashing them, ask yourself, are they making a point I could possibly accept? And when you want to talk, don't go straight for the jugular. Winning an argument by dehumanizing someone is losing, and losing a lot more than we actually realize. Step 2, zero in on how much you have in common. Don't focus on how different you are to the person you're disagreeing with. What do you share? People, they often disagree because they care deeply about solving a really important problem, or they just want to know the truth. We all just have different ways to get there. You might be surprised to find you're closer to one another than you thought. Psst, this is especially useful for family members against family members. You guys know who you are. Finally, step 3, widen your circles. Maybe follow someone on social media you don't agree with. Nope, no trolling allowed. And in real life, seek out people who think differently to you. People with whom you can have a solid, respectful disagreement with and still say mates. The scholar Alan Jacobs suggests surrounding yourself with like-hearted rather than like-minded people. Like-hearted, yeah, I like that. So that's me. What do you want to say? Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm Tim Wilson, Executive Director of Maxim Institute for The Common Room. For more videos like this, subscribe at commonroomnz.com.